Here we go! Hello, Illuvium Rangers and Pullum Minions. We're out here, launch day. We got some fireworks up in here, celebrating the day. These ones are not lighting, but we wanted to shoot off like Andrew Wallwood back in the day. Anyways, it's launch week. We got Illuvium launching on the 25th. I am so stoked. We're so excited, and we get to interview Kieran Warwick today, asking why should we be playing this game. So let's make sure nothing's on fire. We're looking good. All right, we had a nice start here. Nothing's on fire. I got a little extra stuff that didn't pop, but whatever. So we're going to start off this AMA asking some of the basic questions. What is Illuvium? For any new viewers that might be here who haven't actually, been in this ecosystem that much, get an understanding. And then we're going to dive into why should we be playing this? What is better about these games compared to their Web 2 alternates? So let's go and bring up Kieran Warwick, the CEO of Illuvium. Hello, sir. How are you doing? How'd you like that intro?
Very interesting intro. Are those things legal where you're at? What's the deal there?
So I was actually gonna go for a lot bigger. I was going for like the wedding sparklers that hit the roof. They go like 10 feet high. Those ones were illegal. I couldn't quite get those, or at least you had to order them several weeks in advance. So I could only go with those ones. My partner does not know that I did this, so no one tell her or she might kill me. But no, we're all good. Everything's safe. But yeah, man. How are you doing? How are you liking Gauntlet mode? Obviously, that's just been launched recently. I hear that. How many games have you won so far? I'm curious.
It's getting better, put it that way. I wasn't playing very well to start off with, but I've received a few tips, and I'm certainly playing much better.
Nice. Well, that's exciting. Well, I'm going to start off with a more of a fun question, icebreaker. We're now in the big marketing push for Illuvium, and I'm curious, thinking back to your past, what was like the first game you remember like seeing an ad for some marketing around that was like, ooh, I want to play that game? What like as a kid, what really drew you in? Do you remember that game, or what would be the first one that you do remember?
Probably would have been a like a poster or something that I saw inside EB Games, which is like our equivalent of like a GameStop in Australia. But the thing that's really like memorable for me, it would have been like that first World of Warcraft trailer. I wasn't so much a kid. I'd already played games for like 10 years at that stage, but it certainly resonated with me. That storytelling through awesome cinematics it just made me immediately think, I got to go play this game.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. I remember those magazines a little bit. Maybe I was a little bit too young to see them too often, but I totally see that making an impression. I guess my first one was like an Xbox commercial for like Oddworld. Maybe that explains why I'm a little strange, but I remember like that green Xbox logo like molding in, and it hooked me. And I was like, all right, cool, I want to buy that game next. But no, it's crazy how marketing has changed. And I mean, if we pull up your trailer, we have some really cool trailers that you guys dropped recently on the cinematic. Like these trailers are literally next level. Like they remind me of, StarCraft in, I don't know why it's not pulling up. There we go. Is it shown for you? Nope.
No. God, I feel like I'm in Rich's hands all over again.
It should be showing. All right, we're gonna go here. This is the one, I think. There we go. And so if we look at this trailer, you got something that you can visualize around it, and you guys added some amazing graphics to it. Oh, this is the wrong trailer too, but I'm sure everyone's already seen it. It's been out for a couple weeks. I don't know why it's not sharing that one specifically. There we go. This is the one I wanted. Like, as a kid, I think that these are so important. Like when you had StarCraft 2 come out and it had that amazing trailer on the side with Blizzard, just in general does these great with like Diablo 4 as well. I think those are a great hook, and what you guys have done here is really, really impressive. Where do you guys see any other cinematics coming in the near future that can help push that further, or how's that looking? I hear there's a pretty long intro cinematic that we should be expecting. Can you give us any leaks about that?
Oh yeah, you guys haven't seen the 5-minute version of the cut down trailer.
5 minutes?
Yeah, it's pretty long, and we spent a lot of time, a lot of resources on that trailer, but it's incorporated into the tutorial. So, I mean, you can think of the tutorial as an extension of obviously it's interactive, but it's very story driven. It's going to reveal more in that first like 25 minutes than we've revealed in the entire 4 years.
Wow.
So that people should be very excited about. But we're also internally putting together a cinematics team where we can do a lot more storytelling through these types of trailers. Except instead of us outsourcing some of it, which we do about sort of like 70-30 now, 70% outsourced, 30% in-house, we'll ideally bring most of that in-house.
Okay. And do we still have plans for a Netflix series or some further adaptation of the gaming in modern media? Is that something that you guys
Absolutely,
still?
100%. There's so much storyline. I actually said to Aaron, who's working on the story quite heavily at the moment, just purely because there's going to be a bunch of story that is revealed through NPC interactions, and he's working on some other things as well, which I can't reveal yet. You'll soon find out in a couple of days. I don't think anyone needs any leaks when we're 48 hours away, right? Like
Yeah.
it's fairly it's easy to wait 2 days after you've just waited like 2 decades. But
2 decades.
there's some really cool stuff coming, and a lot of that focus is going to be on revealing what this storyline is, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff which could potentially be a prequel. Then we could have sequels. Like there's almost too much storyline, similar to what ended up happening with the Riot's League of Legends universe, where just they needed to go and build a show because it was too hard to get all of that storyline across to the player through gameplay. And I feel like it's going to be a similar situation. Like no one has any idea, and no one still in 4 years has picked what Illuvium is, and how the universe works and all of that kind of stuff. So there's some really exciting stuff for the lore buffs out there that will 2 days is all you got to wait.
2 days. Well, I'm sure we can't wait. So I'm super excited. I know in this gameplay trailer you even said extensive lore. I think that's one of the biggest things that people are waiting to hear, and y'all have kept a lid on that very well. That's awesome. Well, before we go any further, we probably should do a, real quick for anyone unfamiliar with Illuvium, can you give us a quick overview of what is Illuvium and explain that, like your pitch? I mean, I did a 16-minute video on trying to cover what it is, and even there, I think it was so basic, just giving us a tease of what this is. How do you explain it to people?
So it's an interconnected universe of games. Basically, what we want to do is have all the assets in any of the games, whether you acquire them or you buy them or you win them, whatever it is, we want them to seamlessly transition between any of the current titles that we have and any future titles. So the 3 games that we have now are Illuvium Zero, which is a city builder. You basically you play on mobile. You can also play on desktop as well, but your job there is to generate fuel, and that fuel is what powers the entire economy. So you can decide, do I use that fuel for myself when I go into the overworld for things like traveling, curing shards, capturing alluvials, fusing alluvials together to make a stronger version of it. All of those interactions require fuel, and you can either generate that yourself, or you can sell it to another player in the ecosystem and make a little bit of money back off your land. And then the idea is to go around. The overworld is where you're going to discover the most about Illuvium and why you've crash landed on this planet, how you can try and get off, which is your one of your objectives, and basically building up a team of going around capturing these creatures. There's 200 plus to collect. There's 205 for you to collect. Once you've built up a strong team, then you can bring those same characters into our third game, which is Illuvium Arena, where you can basically a very in-depth strategy game using auto battler mechanics, where you want to put together the most advanced team that you can based on the classes and synergies that are available to you to beat your opponent. And all three games work together. You don't need to play all three games. You could say, I just want to play in the Overworld, or maybe I just want to generate some fuel in Zero, or I just want to battle people, and that's I'm super competitive. I want to do tournament play, or you can do all three. It's completely up to the player, and I think it's going to be one of the first examples of where ownership inside of a game is actually meaningful and powerful.
Yeah, no, it sounds exciting. Being able to have all three of those, and you worked on all three of them in parallel. You got that done in like, what, 3-4 years? You look at, traditional Web 2 games, there are some of them that worked for the last 10 years pushing out a single game, and they didn't even launch very well. So I think what you guys have, at least what we've been able to see so far, looks promising. I cannot wait to hop in there. I do want to touch further on the creatures, specifically those Alluvials. Which one is your favorite? I'm going to go through a little screen share there. I'm going to go back to that so you can see what is these little guys. Got a little presentation here. Which one's your favorite? Like, these are beautiful what you guys have done, especially when you got into like the 3D modeling. Like, this Artis looks just gorgeous.
And Monarch, yeah.
Oh man.
I've got so many favorites. I was actually playing a couple of days ago, and I was going up against the computer, and which obviously is a lot easier than playing like someone like yourself. And I was trying to max out the teams. Now that the first and second round you earn gold off that, it's a lot easier to get to stage 3 creatures in the late game. And I was playing with I was playing with Squiz. I only got up to Octius. I didn't quite get up to stage 3, but I was playing with Squiz. And if you get the Scion synergy and Shock in Gauntlet, it's pretty crazy. I also put I can't remember the augment's name, but it refunds 100% of the energy cost of an Omega, and I think it's perpetual something. I don't know, and you just hide your Squiz. I didn't even have this. Oh no, I did get up to Octius in the end, and it's just recasting that Omega, and it just decimates the team. So yeah. I think Squiz has been a bit of a cult favorite. My friend actually was the original designer of that. He wanted to input something in the game, and it was so early on. I was like, yeah, whatever, man. I'll give it to a concept artist. And so it's kind of close to me, that character. And when you play with Squiz and he's so lethal, I think I would have to go with Squiz.
Yeah. Okay, Squiz. So if you are you someone who cares about the number one ID of an Alluvial? Like, do you want to be a collector of all those super, like the first ones that come out, or what are you feeling on that?
There's so many things that you can point to from a collector's standpoint that we've built into the system, where it's like, are you that like ID gets to this granular level where I'm like, really? Now I know it will be like you have misprint on a Pokemon card back 20 years ago, and it's absolutely insane. But like, so is a Charizard. Like so is a card that's super super rare that was just in that first original set. So I think at this point I'm not massively psyched about the capture numbers, the ID numbers.
Okay.
I think I'm more about like I just want to make sure that I get 2 or 3 of each alluvial in this first set, because once set 2 comes around, you can never get them again. And I think you zoom out 20 years from now, just having those original characters is going to be huge. But I don't know, maybe when I get in there and I see that I'm capturing like the 500th Ramfire, I'll be a little bit upset. But yeah.
All right, very well, very well. Is there any that you're going to be buying off the market? Like you want to get into Arena quick? If it's taking you too long, are you going to buy anything, or do you have a pot set aside? What does your funding look like when you're first going in?
To be honest, man, it's been such a crazy last month or like since my wedding, pretty much, was just coming up on 12 months. Like, I don't even know what's been going on. Like it's honestly been a blur. Like there's just been so much work that's gone into this. I haven't even set up my funds. I know I will probably like 4 hours before, but we just keep on adding things and just stretching ourselves to the point of no return. And so I don't know, maybe I won't have any time to set up my wallets. And I know I certainly won't be doing anything with my land. Like it's just too late there to do anything at this stage. So, but I'm sure I'll get in there and find a way to start capturing. But I mean, now the frustrating thing is like I'm addicted to Gauntlet. So it's like go into Overworld, don't go into Overworld.
Yeah.
I'll probably end up just getting milked for buying all of these characters for Gauntlet.
Oh, well, there you go, everyone. Kieran's buying. Get him quick. I mean, I totally understand. I really actually wish you didn't drop Gauntlet earlier, because now I'm so addicted, and like I'm supposed to have all these videos and stuff done ready for launch, and I've just been grinding Illuvium. Oh man, it's been good. Gauntlet's been really fun. So then when it comes to launch day, what's keeping you up that night? Are you going to be able to sleep easy? I mean, you got a kid, right? So you're probably exhausted. You just want sleep anyways, probably. But is there anything that's going to be keeping you up? Like, I'm sure early on in the project, you were just thinking of like all these cool features you want to put in, and that was what was keeping you up at night. What keeps you up now? Is it just, oh, how many people are going to be playing tomorrow? Like, I don't know. I'm very curious.
Revenue numbers, player numbers. When are we going to do this? Will this activate the ability for us to do a capital raise, so we don't need to worry about funding ever again, and we can build out this 10, 15 year vision that we have? I don't know, man.
Yep.
There's so many things that keep me up at night, but not crazily, to be honest. Like I mentioned this before in a couple of AMAs, but I feel like I can handle stress pretty well. But it definitely is getting to crunch time where like you couple barely any sleep with high stress of like the unknown. That's more so what I don't like, right? Like I don't like not being in control. And we've done absolutely everything that we can to get the games into a really good state. If we didn't have Gauntlet coming out, I would be a lot more worried than what I am. But with all that said, it's kind of like we've done everything we can. We've built as fast as humanly possible. We've got such an amazing team that have just gone like, it's going to take probably a month to just recuperate what the hell is going on. Like, to actually be able to appreciate how crazy the team has gone to get us to this stage. So I sleep, man. I do. I'm not worried, right? We've done absolutely everything we can. I think we've got easily the best game or the best gaming universe in all of Web3. And now I'm really excited to change tune now and start saying, okay, let's go after Pokemon fans. Let's go after Teamfight Tactics fans. And I think we've got the ammunition to do it.
Awesome. Well, let's dive into that. Like the topic of this was why is Illuvium better than the others? So let's talk about Pokemon. Let's talk about Palworld. Why should we be playing your Overworld instead of those two games? How do you compare? What are the differentiating factors?
So I think it's an interesting spin on creature captures because we've got the auto battler that's intertwined into the capturing process. That is really unique. And another thing that we have is obviously the graphics. When you're talking about a creature capture game, you want to feel that emotion. You want to feel immersed in the world that you're in. You want to feel like you're actually a ranger going out there and capturing things like it's almost real life. And I think the range of environments that we have, the abundance of different creatures in all sorts of different you know categories of animals that are out there, some extinct, some not, some dwell in water, some are in arid climates. Like this diversity of creatures keeps it exciting across the board. And the storyline, right? Like I think keeping that under wraps has been so important, because when you go in as at the first time and you start uncovering this, those that like that sort of journey through an RPG are going to love this storyline. Like I genuinely think it could easily be turned into a movies or a movie series or a Netflix series, and people are going to fall in love with this IP. And then the whole idea that you actually own your assets, that's the cherry on top, where it's like, wow, I just captured this thing and I could sell it. Maybe I get $1 for it. Maybe I get $10,000 for it. It doesn't matter. It's that concept of, fuck, I can sell this thing. Like that power. I think everyone is underestimating that, because we just haven't gotten to a point where the games are as good as our as our competitors in mainstream. When you do that, I always think to myself, like, what would happen if one of these mainstream games just added a real world economy and ownership of assets? It would, they're not going back, and I will stand by that. Like the minute that it's done well, it's game over.
Yeah, I think everyone's getting close to it. I mean, I think you got a lot of big studios that are sitting on the sidelines going, okay, when does a game get this right? And then that's where they're going to learn from what went right, what went wrong, and then they're all going to dive into. That's what I'm imagining. And then we're going to have this huge flood of Web3 growth. At least that's what we're hoping for, right? And with those alluvials in how it's, selling, making $1, making $10,000, I actually have a list of assets, and we'll go through this periodically over the rest of this AMA, but let's say maybe not you, but someone else. Do you think an alluvial will sell at the same price as a CSGO blue gym skin that's sold for over $1 million? Do you think that'll happen in Illuvium? Will that be like a dark hollow Ramfire, or do you have any ambition there? And if not, we'll keep going down the list until there's some speculation on where these prices can reach.
If the first dark hollow Ramfire that's caught, I definitely think can get up to that sort of a price, because you can't put a price on something like that, right? Like there are crazy people out there that if they fall in love with an IP and they've got enough money. Remember, it's a collection. It's like buying a piece of art, right? Like you're spending that money up front, but waiting 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it might be, in a situation where that this studio is going to keep on building out game after game after game, and the IP is just going to grow and grow and grow. If you believe in that now, and you've got a shit ton of money, that the stars align there, and you're going to say, well, you know what? Someone is probably going to pay $10 million for this in another 10 years. So you spend $1 million, let's say you've got $1 billion, it's a fraction of your net worth. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
even matter to you. It's not, I've seen crazier things, put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, punk, what is it, crypto punks going for 23 million, and that's literally just a JPEG that has no real utility. I mean, maybe it does. I'm sure there's some crypto punks in here that are gonna tear into me for saying that, but like, it's stuff like that really surprised me. This is actually has some utility, and it's gonna look amazing. So I'm really excited to see where that goes. So I guess you ruined all my other thresholds. If we're already at $1 million, everyone make sure you're hunting those dark hollows. That's super exciting. Well, let's jump into your second game, which is that Teamfight Tactics competitor, or Dota 2 Underlords competitor, the Arena. How do you think it's going to do? Especially, we have Gauntlet, we have Ascendant. Are you still confident that we're still going to keep pushing Ascendant, or what are your thoughts on both of those modes?
So we're going to do some. Do I think a 1v1 mode can exist in Arena? 100%, absolutely. The change is needed. There can't be a team builder. There needs to be RNG, right? Like, people like that type of game. And maybe for the sweaty, hardcore people that have been grinding for the last, 12 to 18 months, maybe we split off another game mode and make it like Legacy Arena. And if you want to play that and it's got the team builder, go nuts, right? I don't think it's going to get the masses to it, but doesn't matter, right? We've already built it. We can make that a legacy mode, no issues. Where I think Arena would be totally different if it was if Gauntlet was built 12 months ago. When we did that Team Liquid integration, there was, firstly, we did a training session with all of the Liquid guys. I think even two, maybe Taryn did a one-on-one before they started, on top of the group session that we did. These guys play Teamfight Tactics all the time, and you would go on stream and they would be like, what is this? Mm-hmm. How do I make it? It's like, dude, but it's not their fault. It was super complex, unnecessarily complex. And people don't want that when they're talking like a casual, hyper fun game. Like, they just want to get in, start playing. Oh, I got lucky. I'm better than you at this. And away you go. And, I just think, what would have happened if we had Gauntlet, where you just say, like, it's night and day. You say to a content creator now, because we've lined up a ton that will go live on the 25th, jump in, start playing the game. And they're like, whoa, this is cool. This is like just better graphics, similar gameplay. And I know how to play off the drop of the hat. Their audience know how to play at the drop of the hat, right? There's no complexity in showing them this version of the game. I think instead of us going from 40,000 players down to 500 players, I think it goes from 40,000 players to 100,000 players, just purely from word of mouth of this game is actually super fun. You never get it. Like, it almost pains me to say it, that we were telling people, hey, watch your favorite content creator play a game that's very similar to what you're used to watching. They go download it from the Epic Store. Oh no, you can't get straight in. You need to build a team. Go to this website. Sit there for 45 minutes building this team. You have no idea what the hell you're doing. You go back into the game. Oh, Ranger, if you don't bond it to your Ranger, like all this shit, you go back into the game. You get absolutely wrecked. And they're like, oh, better go back to the team builder for 45 minutes. Like, I'm gone. I'm out of here. Like, peace out. Thanks for coming. Never again. And that's what we saw. It's the polar opposite with this. And I've never been so confident in something that we've built before. I know for a fact that there's no hurdles here. Go out to these content creators, show your audiences that there's a newer, cooler game out there that has more creatures, better graphics, similar gameplay. Go. Set forth.
There you go. That was some passion. That is why you should be playing Illuvium over Teamfight Tactics or Dota Underlords 2. I know I'm right there. I'm experiencing it, and I'm so addicted to this game. Go ahead.
But here's the deal here, and this is my issue, right? Like we get posted on IGN, and every Illuvium bag holder comes out and is like, "You're wrong. NFTs are amazing. They're going to revolutionize gaming, you idiot. How could you not know?" And it's like, do you think that sort of
Tactfulness.
yeah, do you think that's going to change the mind of someone that's sort of looking and going, wow, what's this game? Even if they are being critical, who cares? Tell them. I also thought NFT gaming was terrible, because you did. If you didn't, you're lying, right? Like, you are absolutely fucking lying. So you can sit there and try and protect your bags, whatever, but it does the opposite. It screws your bags, because people are sitting there and they're like, oh, look at these NFT crypto dudes. They band together. Is it even a real person? Like, sounds like a bot. So it's like,
I saw those.
if we want to embrace mainstream, if we want to welcome them, which we do, right? Like, if you really want to help your bags, don't do shit like that. Just let it happen organically. Show them the game. Say, yeah, we thought we were skeptical too, and we're now believers. Like, I was a hardcore gamer like you, because that's how these founders started, right? The three co-founders, we all looked at crypto gaming and we were like, this is terrible, absolutely terrible. But what if we could make it good? Right now, tons and tons of games are now building really good IP and really good gameplay, and it is coming, but we need to be tactful when it comes to how we introduce people to our brands. And it's not just us, it's for crypto gaming in general. If you want it to succeed, just ease up a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm super excited to see how these content creators, once they start getting onboarded and they're checking it out, see how they actually go. I want to hear what they're saying about it. Are they like promoting it, or like, hey, you guys should really check this out. This is actually fun. Get in a game with me. That's the kind of stuff that I think we should be looking for. And if we start seeing that, then we know we have a huge success. And I'm pretty confident that's what's going to happen. Then we got the last question, and then we'll start asking the audience some questions. I know there's already some questions in there, and I know I haven't been addressing you guys. Thanks for all your comments and everything. But the last one is around Illuvium Zero. Why is this a game that people should be playing over other land or resource management games?
Fuel generation. You can make money. You can also create blueprints, right? The recipe for cosmetics. The idea, like, that's another thing, right? We build these features in, and you just forget how in depth all of the game design features that we've come up with. Like, the fact that you can own the blueprint for a skin and be the only person in the world who can go and create that skin, and someone has to come and knock on your land door and say, hey dude, you know, I saw you have this this skin, this blueprint, like, I need it, I really want this skin. And he's like, oh, well, how much are you willing to pay for it? And it's like, what do you mean? Like, just, dude, just share the blueprint, make it for us, like, it doesn't cost you anything. And he's like, no, I've got a monopoly over this blueprint, and he knows it, right? And so, you know, that type of stuff for landholders is awesome fun, right? If you like playing intergame economics and you know, the supply and demand game, where, you know, if you get onto something before anyone else and you have that advantage, there's so many cool things that can span into. And so blueprints is one of them. I think once they become real, that's going to give a big win to Illuvium Zero. And then the other one is this similar sort of note when it comes to selling and buying and selling fuel. It's like, when do I do it? You know, do I wait until the market is got a massive amount of demand coming through and there's tons and tons of players that are looking to get fuel? I sell it at the highest price. But if I wait too long, maybe the demand goes down, and then all of a sudden all of the fuel sellers are trying to get in, and you lose your opportunity, right? It's similar to investing, right? Like, when do you sell? You try and buy early, sell high, and it's a similar situation. Like those types of things have been in games for decades and decades, but usually not with real money. So I think with real money on the line, it just makes it so much better, and it makes it feel like real life.
Okay, so you're thinking that the gameplay is roughly the same because of the player-driven economy. It's going to
Mm.
propel it way ahead, being able to really influence and monopolize. Do all these different kind of econ moves. Is that kind of what you're
The
feeling from that?
game's worse. Like, let's not beat around the bush here. Zero is not anywhere near as good as a Clash of Clans, a really polished city builder game. It's not, right?
So
But
what mechanics do you guys have planned to improve that, or is that on the pipeline? How are we looking for land and improving its gameplay so that it can be on par or superior? Sorry to cut you
so
off.
making it competitive, having the ability to raid someone else's land, even if you're not doing that for to raid their fuel. Maybe there's something else that you can raid. Having things like alluvials that are guarding the perimeter of your city. Having fights in the open world in Illuvium Zero where your rampires ulting to try and take away enemies that come in. You've got, instead of having towers, you literally have alluvials roaming
Alluvials.
around. Things like the training gym idea, we love that whole idea of I don't have a zero plot, you do. Now I'm a really good arena player. It's actually probably the reverse of this, but let's say I want to train up my alluvial for an impending tournament that's coming up. I hit you up. Hey, dude, you got any space in your gym? I need to drop off 5 alluvials, train them up for me. I need them at this level. And you say, yeah, sure, come on in. And I'll charge you for that. It's like going to a real life gym. Like I don't obviously do that anymore because I don't have a life, but it's that type of, realness that we're trying to invoke out of people where you just, I don't know. There's so many directions that we can take Illuvium Zero, and it's got so much potential. We will absolutely start tapping into it. Like that team has gotten that we've hired 3 new people in the last like 2 months. 2 of them joined like this week. One of them being a really experienced game designer. We are not going to stop with Illuvium Zero. I promise you that. It's going to be absolutely awesome. But
Yeah.
right now, let's be realistic. It's not. It's just that you add in the fact that you can generate fuel. And that, for me, regardless of the gameplay, makes it more exciting than any other mobile city builder out there because I'm playing the economy. And I think we're kind of lucky in that almost everyone that holds a piece of land is similar in that regard, where they're an investor in this space. And so playing the economy game is more important than a casual city builder that you play on the weekend.
Yeah, yeah, and you mentioned that realness, that immersion that I think comes from NFT games. Having those as real assets, it adds this tangibleness to your game assets, and I think that's what is really good about Web3 gaming in general. And seeing that in the City Builder, in Illuvium Zero, I think will still make a huge impact. And once we do add some of those other gameplay features, I think it could really push that game forward. So that is great to hear. Let's go ahead and move to some of the questions in the chat. We deserve challenges asking about communication around Illuvium Zero and the fuel crates. How do you use your mainnet wallet correctly for game launch? Do you have any of those details coming out soon? And any communications coming out in the next 24 hours, 48 hours?
Yeah, so in the next 24 hours, maybe 36, there's a blog post on how to do all of that kind of stuff, setting up your wallet, how to navigate the fuel exchange, how to claim your airdrop rewards, like all of the things that are you probably could piece them together if you're in the Discord and listening to mods, or one of the co-founders in there or whatever. But we'll put it all in one really easy to read space, and that'll be out very, very soon.
There you go, guys. And so when it comes to Ascendant team, I think maybe there's a little confusion there. We have I think it's BGKCIV asking, will the Ascendant mode not have team building in the future, or will it just be a separate mode? Or are you saying that Ascendant mode would be a 1v1 where it's random alluvials that you're being given?
Let's just say I hope it doesn't, but it's none of that is confirmed yet. We've obviously been focusing on getting Gauntlet out, so we've left Ascendant for the time being. But all I'll say is we will come up with a 1v1 version of Arena that is super amounts of fun, that still utilizes the Alluvials, without a doubt.
Well, and I'm curious if I can take a moment to ask you this. This is actually an idea I've had for a while. I'm even considering pushing an IIP for it. If we had that 1v1, maybe still have the team builder, and we make it more of a turn base. It'll slow it down even more, but it'll make it more like chess in the way that it's my turn, I get a certain amount of mastery points, I get to place 2 units, they get to go next turn, they get more mastery points, but I'm stuck in my positioning. So then you're actually, trying to plan a couple steps ahead. Okay, well, if I position this way, they'll be able to counter me next turn. What are your thoughts? Have you guys ever talked about a turn-based kind of game, 1v1?
Go play chess, dude. Seriously.
Don't play this? Man.
No, go play chess.
Oh, go play chess. Oh, okay, yeah.
I absolutely love chess. Grew up playing chess all my life. And, I recently got into it again like 3 years ago or whatever, and started playing on a mobile version. And I was playing like 5-6 games a day against a mate of mine. I love chess, but chess is chess, right? Like, don't bring your chess into
he hates right? My idea, everyone. He hates it.
It's terrible, and I don't want to hear any more of it, because if anyone gets an idea of that in our game design team, maybe they'll run with it. But no, I think we've learned a valuable lesson here with I'm not saying that deck building games can't be successful. There's multiple out there that have tens of millions of players. I'm not saying that. I just don't think it fits for the auto battler genre, and for me, I just think adding in those elements of RNG make the game so much more fun.
Yeah. Well, TSG actually just mentioned a follow-up question there. Would we be open to a Pokemon Stadium-style turn-based game? I love that. Played it on the GameCube. I think that's the one you're referring to. I would totally be down. Kieran, do you know what that game's like? Did you play that?
I think I played Pokemon Stadium back in the day, but not enough to really. I had a 64, so it makes sense that I would, but. My 2 older brothers, they weren't keen on Pokemon, and they were usually the ones that got to choose what games we played, which was like Wave Race, GoldenEye. What were some of the other ones? Played a lot of the Mario, like Mario Party, Mario Kart, Super Smash. There's some other ones that I don't know. I can't really think at the moment.
Nice. Okay. All right. Very well. Well, then back to what we're currently looking at for production and timelines after launch. How often are you going to be pushing new content or adding new features? Obviously, you guys need to take a break. Most likely, everyone's been pushing it to the end, so there'll be definitely a little bit of a lull in any new updates after that. But what are some of the new goals in next 3 months or so?
So we need to get the current game modes as polished as possible. But there's an array of new features coming, right? Like for Illuvium Zero, training gyms, we're going to start working on that competitive aspect. We're going to start looking at like protecting of your base, stuff like that. Like none of these features are set in stone yet, but there's a roadmap for us to start building that out in Illuvium Zero. In Overworld, multiplayer, questing, Leviathan battles, combat, like there's just so many things that we want to get done in Overworld, obviously. And then Arena, just building out gauntlet mode. So you've got those PvE rounds. You've got a few more like choose your item type stuff. A lot of quality of life improvements to that as well. Adding in the ranger to make it unique to us, like that no other. Obviously, TFT you can't play with a ranger or a character or a drone or whatever, and so adding the ranger in is going to be a big step for us. And then Illuvitar's Wave 3, where there's a lot of improvements there as well.
Okay, yeah, we haven't talked about Illuvitar much, but that's all. We'll leave that for later. When it comes to those features, if you choose one of them and it would be ready for launch, which one would it be? Yeah, I can see the politics in your head going. Oh no, which game do I prioritize right here?
No, no, no. I
Oh,
know it.
okay.
I mean, multiplayer. Like for me, one of the games that I had probably the most amount of fun playing when I was growing up is World of Warcraft. And when you go in and do a raid, and you
Mm,
go in like hey, you get 8 players, they all jump in together. You've got to synergize your comp. So you've got a little bit of everything. You've got your tanks in the front line, and then you've got your wizards in the back line, like just absolutely putting down damage. That that was some of the funnest times in my life. Like I
oh
literally
wow.
remember buying a brand new PC. I like wasn't making much money. I think I was making like $8 an hour or something. And I just would go and buy like a 5 grand gaming PC back in the day when I was 18 and just crush World of Warcraft for an insane amount of time.
Yes.
And yeah, like I love that. So for me, multiplayer quests slash like raids with other players where you bring all your alluvials in and you synergize with like the 60 alluvials that
Yeah,
you
that's
have there. So
crazy.
like you know what I mean? It's just insane action. And you're
Every
taking down this Leviathan that's like the size of the screen and shit. Like that, yeah, I'm in. Sign me up.
Yeah, like every composite's maxed out. It's at 4. Like that'd be crazy.
You add
That would be
more.
exciting.
You add
Or more.
six,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it's equal damage, man. You got, you know what I mean? Like,
But it only does like
love that.
1% of the health bar or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it does nothing. You're in like a 45-minute battle here.
Yeah.
You lose like 9 times out of 10, and you get to the end. It's got like that much health, and you've got 2 dudes left. He's just fucking taking your team, picking
Yeah.
everyone up on his shoulders, and then he just falls right at the last minute, and you're like, you got to do this again. Like that. That's excitement. And we've
I,
got the base there, man. Like that's
yeah.
what people don't realize. We have the base there to do all sorts of crazy shit, and we will. Trust me, we will.
We will, he says. Well, Fubar has a question here. Is there any solution to onboard Web 2 gamers, like facilitating the fiat payments? I think we have MoonPay, or feel free to explain some more of that.
Uh, Look, it's not amazing right now. There is obviously MoonPay, but I think we even had to deactivate that
Oh,
at some
really?
stage. I'm not sure if we've reactivated that. I should find out, but it needs to be connected to IMX and it needs to sync in with them. So I think those solutions, those sort of infrastructure partners, are going to get better and better over time, and you know making it easier for mainstream is going to be so important. And we'll sort of have a hybrid of that. We almost do in the sense that Illuvium Zero, you can have in-app purchases. Once Arena is ported over to mobile, same thing. You'll be able to buy your cosmetics and stuff inside of Arena, and yeah, it will slowly get to that. I'm sure maybe one day we'll even have fuel where you can purchase that through one of the app stores as well.
Nice. Zalbrad is suggesting that we do an Alluvium Go. I mean, I loved Pokemon Go. When it first came out, I was one of those people mindlessly walking, almost getting hit by cars. Like, I loved that game. Like, there was a hype like that I've never felt. Like, you just walk around and you knew everybody was doing Illuvium Go. If we get, I don't know if that's a possibility with
What was that? That would have been what, 2014, maybe 15? Like, it's coming up to nearly 10 years old, right?
Is it really that old? Oh my gosh.
I think so. I remember where I was trying to capture those things. I think it's like 10 years, something like that.
2016. Jeez, that's 8 years.
2016.
July
8 years,
6th,
yes.
actually, yeah. Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, and I mean, maybe, I don't know. Like, I obviously played Pokemon Go. I was pretty addicted, but it was a flash in the pan for me. It was only for like, I want to say like a week.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. There was some people who I was playing with that would just literally every couple hours they'd be like, "Hey, we're going out. We're gonna go raid this gym. Let's go take it over," and then we'd all just go and attack. It was fun. That was a lot of fun. Awesome. Well, do we have any other questions? Feel free to keep sending them. And then I got a couple more here. I know we're almost out of time. How are you on time, Kieran? I know I personally need to practice for the tournament later this evening, but I can definitely go a little bit longer.
It's 11 p.m. and I ordered KFC at 9, and it was meant to get here before this started, and I watched my Uber just circle and circle and circle, and then it says the store is closed, and so I literally haven't eaten today, and it's 11 p.m. So
all right, well then
go on with the questions. I hope my food is at the door, but yeah, go on with the questions, and I can get that later.
We'll just see if there's anything else really interesting. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to send it. But I think we could call it there. Honestly, it's been a great conversation with you. Maybe just one more for the beginners, anyone who's new to the audience. What advice would you give them so that they can make the most of their first Illuvium experience when they start playing on the 25th?
Advice, I would say, if you don't have much money, be very tactical when it comes to the marketplace. If the same situation as Illuvium Beyond pans out, there's going to be people who buy things at a premium. There's certainly situations where back, like when I was first pulling cards in Beyond, I could have gotten a huge amount. And I think the market will go like this, and then it will slowly go down, and then it'll hit its like fair market value for assets. And then over the next like 10 years, it's going to gradually go up and up and up and up and up and up and up like that.
Yep.
That's what we're looking for in terms of, sell your assets to me. I'll be there buying them on day one.
I will be. I promise. I'll be listening to everything. But awesome.
No, I can't play StarCraft with you, Zilbrad. If you said Total Annihilation or the Warcraft original, or maybe even I didn't even go back as far as Age of Empires, but no, StarCraft was the only one. I don't like. This is gonna sound crazy, but I'm not that into space exploration games, right? Like I don't know, not a fan. StarCraft just sucked for me.
Oh, really? That's painful. I loved StarCraft 2. Before I got into League of Legends, that was my main game. I would actually go into Korean servers so that I could try and beat the diamonds and masters over there, because it was such a fun game. TSG. So not a fan of Star Atlas? Oh my gosh. But awesome. Well, Kieran, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks to everyone in the audience. Feel free to subscribe, and hit all those notification bells. It's been a long time since I did a live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it, especially the fireworks at the beginning. But anyways, that's all we got today. Thanks again, Kieran. I'm going to go and end the stream there. See you guys next time. Caveman